I'm your cult boyfriend. We're going to be looking at Variety, the 100 greatest movies of all time. The 100 greatest movies of all time. Okay, let's do this. You guys ready? You guys ready for me, the greatest of online film critics, to fucking lay down the law? I don't know. We're gonna have fun, hopefully talk about some fun movies. I can get really happy, I can get really mad and aggressive. It'll be a roller coaster of emotion and quality, hopefully, or else it's a boring list. I think a misconception is that I want everyone to agree with me. I don't. I want to be surprised. Okay, I want to be reminded of something awesome. I want to be surprised. What are my favorite movies? Well, I'm glad you asked. My favorite movies are part of what is called the Doomed Bourgeois in Love trilogy by Whit Stillman. So we're talking Metropolitan. This is the best one. This is the best. But I view them all as like a complete text. They're the most beautiful films on the planet. They mean the world to me. I would kill for the honor of these movies. But Metropolitan is the first one. Barcelona, lovely film, is the second. And The Last Days of Disco is the grand finale, which is a beautiful, 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 beyond any words I can come up with. It's the remarkably perfect and wonderful film. The Last Days of Disco with Kate Beckinsale and Chloe Sevigny. I love all these movies. Chris Eichman is a literally me character in every single one of them, which means I'm a very flawed and pseudo intellectual individual who is extremely self destructive. At least I'm honest about myself, okay, everyone? These are the best films on the planet. It's 100 movies, right? 100 greatest movies and variety. Variety, I think, as the name implies, they often have variety, a decent variety. There's a chance, there's some sort of chance that maybe we'll see one of these movies here. I would guess it wouldn't be Barcelona, maybe Metropolitan or The Last Days of Disco, somewhere hanging out between 70 and 100. I want some representation for my boy, Whit Stillman. And for my boy Chris Eichman and for my wife, for wifey Kate Beckinsale, please. Please. I'm genuine. These are the greatest movies ever made. If you've ever watched I have videos about it where I go very deeply into all the movies and I analyze them. If you ever wondered, like, hey, this guy's a fucking dick. I wonder what his favorite movies are. Well, these are them. I personally think that they're all brilliant, and I would love to see one of them on this list. If I see one of them on this list, then I'm not allowed to say anything bad about the list. If I don't, well, then Variety, Judgment Day has arrived. Seriously, Metropolitan would be so cool to see. Last Days of Disco would be unbelievable to see. Please, Variety, please. Those are my favorite movies in the world. Please, please, please be here. I mean, like this image, not a bad image. There's some good shit. There's some typical ass shit. Some typical ass mom core bullshit, mom core bullshit. But then we get some interesting stuff. Stuff that shouldn't be here at all. Interesting stuff. Stuff that is so overrated it's not even funny. Interesting stuff. Very good stuff. Yeah. So let's get into it. I don't want this to be a very long video, so I'm going to hopefully go fast. Unless something makes me really emotional, then obviously I'll spend some time talking about it. But I don't want us to be here forever. The Graduate at 100. It's okay. It's okay. It's on the better side of okay. I think there's a lot of problems with it, but I think that the stuff that it does right kind of balances out the flaws. I think it's ultimately mid. I think it's ultimately mid though. 12 Angry Men. Fuck this movie. Fuck it all to hell. I have talked probably in at least a dozen videos about why I think 12 Angry Men is such an overrated and bad movie and why Sidney Lumet is secretly the worst director we ever let into the like upper echelon of master directors. He does not belong there. Sit him at the fucking kiddie table, dude. Keep him out of the Hall of Legends. Sidney Lumet is one of the worst directors ever, based on like how much people actually love his composition, which is a joke because he doesn't have any compositional style. It's nothing. He's a nothing man, a nothing burger. It's what fuck 12 Angry Men. I don't feel like talking about it again. Because I always end up making an enemy too when I talk about 12 Angry Men. People really like this movie. I don't know. Don't trust the movies that they make you watch in school. Just don't. Because like half of the people who I talked to who loved 12 Angry Men were like, man, I loved watching it in 10th grade. Fucking grow up then, dude. Watch a better movie then. Hell yeah. Watch Women on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown. Watch that instead. My favorite Almodovar film is All About My Mother. I also love Talk to Her and Tie Me Up, Tie Me Down. But Women on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown, yes. See, that's why I think we could possibly get The Last Days of Disco on here. Like, this is ultimately why I feel that way. This is an excellent pull. This is surprising. You don't normally find this. This isn't on every list ever, and this is what I like about lists. Honestly, this is a phenomenal film. This film's great. Pedro Almodovar is a true master director. I love him. Alien, what I like about this inclusion is that it's extremely low. It's at 97. And I'm like, okay, cool, cool. Because I've covered so many lists lately that are so mainstream and normy. I like Alien, by the way, but Alien always creeps into the top 10 of everything. And I'm like, no. So why? Why? Tell me why. Why, though? It's good. It's a very good movie, but at 97, I can't complain about that. That's fine. That's fine. Ridley Scott's good. I think he has better films than Alien, though. Hard Day's Night? No. 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 Toy Story? No. Variety, don't go pissing me off right now. I don't like Toy Story. So far as Pixar goes, I like Wall-E and Monsters Inc. I also liked Coco a little bit. I always forget that I do, but I do like that one. Toy Story, no. Bridesmaids at 94. You know what? The Last Days of Disco would have looked a lot better. Bridesmaids at 94. Are you fucking joking? Does anyone watch this movie anymore? It honestly wasn't that funny when it came out. It honestly wasn't a very good movie. And it led to the fucking God, I'm so happy I watched Gilmore Girls, or else I never would have liked Melissa McCarthy. She's wonderful on Gilmore Girls. Go watch that show because I was like, oh fuck. It's the chick from Bridesmaids and all those unfunny movies that came after. But she's actually really talented. But then Hollywood got their grubby hands on her and just, I don't know, drained her dry of spunk, originality, and personality and like replaced it with an artificial one. I love Rose Byrne though. She's ultimately the best part of this film. I don't like this movie though. I don't like it. Like, how is it one of the best movies ever? That's stupid. A decade has passed since Bridesmaids launched 1,000 think pieces about the future of female driven films, but Hollywood is yet to produce a funnier movie from any corner. I would hope that female driven films in the 2020s would amount to more than bad jokes, right? Like, aspire to more, ladies. Come on. The Samurai, excellent film. Lovely movie. I think it's Jean-Pierre Melville's best, and that might sound safe to a lot of people, but I don't give a fuck. I also like Bob Laflambier a lot, but Les Samurai, that's perfect. Alain Delon is just to die for. To die for in that film. It is, God, Drive would be nothing without it, right? Like Drive wouldn't even exist at all without Les Samurai, which I think does it a lot better. There's there's such a there's such a sad poetry to the film that I really, really appreciate. Pink Flamingos, dude, 92. Okay, we back on track, Variety. We're doing some good shit now. Pink Flamingos is awesome. I love it. Filth are my politics. Filth is my life. Like, I fucking love Divine. I love Pink Flamingos. I love John Waters. One of the coolest things I ever did was get to listen to him talk live, you know? Like, that was so cool. John Waters, I think, is a true national treasure, an actual legend. I love the man to death. And Pink Flamingos, it's a rite of passage for all cinephiles, right? This is a rite of passage film for all of us. We all have to go through the Pink Flamingos, right? We all have to like come out of it alive as well. I think it's excellent. Scenes from a Marriage. Fuck yeah. Okay. Okay. It's very good. This list might not be fucking around after all, dude. Here's what I like about The Shining being on this list. I don't like The Shining. I think rather controversially and infamously, I don't like The Shining. What I like about it being on this list is that it's so low on it. I love that. 90. 90, we get that shit out of the way, dude. Bye. Fuck off. Fuck off, Shining. We paid lip service to you, now leave us alone. I'll do door. Yes, baby. Catherine Deneuve. Oh my lord, look at that. Look at her. Just look at her. Fuck, bro. One of those beautiful women ever photographed. And Belle de Jour, I think, is probably her finest performance. Belle de Jour is a beautiful film. Luis Buñuel was just an extraordinary filmmaker. He was a surrealist. He was a political radical when it came to his art. And within Belle de Jour, we get an excellent, oh my God, we get an excellent all-out assault on the perversions of the bourgeois, right? It's a deeply erotic film that is so perverse, that is so beautiful, that is so intoxicating, and seems to be so unique to this day. Belle de Jour is one of the greatest films ever made. I think it's going to make its way into my top 10 pretty soon. Pretty soon. It's one of the best films ever made. Thank you, Variety, for putting it here, for allowing me to talk about it. I love this film to death. It's one of the greatest. Malcolm X. Yeah, it's good. It's good. Spike Lee has a lot other movies that are a lot better. Malcolm X is all right though. Sound of Music, get that shit out of my face. Close Up's excellent. Close Up is wonderful. This list is good. This list isn't bad. Natural Born Killers, I can see the argument for it. I think it's very good. I think Oliver Stone is an extraordinarily capable filmmaker, and I love seeing Oliver Stone kind of twist Tarantino's vision into this exploitative pretzel and then kind of just discard it on the side of the road to make his own ultra-violent expose of sensationalist media coverage, right? About how celebrities are made out of the ultra-violent cinematic forms of deviants and like rebels. I love it, dude. I love this film. This film's so fucking good. Pan's Labyrinth is great. I think that the brother film, I think that I guess you can call it like a sibling film. The sister film, The Devil's Backbone, is much better than Pan's Labyrinth. Uh, Pan's Labyrinth is an extraordinary film. And it was an important one to me in my late teens. I really appreciated the film. Kramer versus Kramer's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I don't I don't think it's very relevant anymore. You know, I think we've had films that tackle the same sort of relationship drama in more complicated ways and in more like prescient ones, even in more immediate ones, in more intimate ways as well. It's a good film though. Parasite, I fucking hated Parasite. I thought it was so overrated. I thought the metaphors were so loud that it was deafening. Like I was surprised that I could still engage with art after it because I thought it had fucking just went to my eardrums, went to my taste buds and just like pulled out my tongue and just bang it with a hammer. Tried to fucking kill me, dude. Parasite is the least subtle movie I've ever watched in my life, and I don't like the composition. I don't like its statements. They feel so fake and artificial. The whole fucking thing feels disingenuous as well. And I don't think it works like compositionally. I don't think it does suspense properly either. I don't think even it does satire well at all. I hate Parasite. That's one of the most overrated films of the last 20 years, easily. Parasite. Fuck that movie. Dark Knight's a very good movie. It's very good. I might, at this point, say that it's too high, especially since it's apparently better than Belle de Jour. Like, fuck that idea entirely. I have not watched this. Shocking indictment about terribly authorities have been treating street kids in Sao Paulo. I would like to watch it though. It sounds rebellious, it sounds confrontational. It sounds like it has an edge to it. I would like to see this film. That's another good reason to do these lists, right? We can find movies that we haven't watched yet and add them to a watch list, you know? And there's one for me. Waiting for Guffman at 79? Dude, I love Christopher Guest. I love Parker Posey. I love that whole crew, but it doesn't belong in the top 100 of anything. This basically guarantees that, like, This Is Spinal Tap will be here. And I would much rather not have Waiting for Guffman and just have This Is Spinal Tap instead, you know? Like, I don't know, dude. This doesn't belong here. It's cute to include it, but it's fucking insulting to put it above Belle de Jour and like women on the verge of a nervous breakdown. Yeah, this is great. Chantel Ackerman, lovely. A lovely film. That's all I have to say about it. I don't think it's very good for discourse, but I think it's a lovely movie. Um, I can't say it's one of my favorites, but I think it's a beautiful picture. Goldfinger, it's good. It's fine. Tree of Life. So like I only enjoy the first three films that Terrence Malick made. I like Badlands. I like Days of Heaven, and I like The Thin Red Line. Everything after that, it just doesn't click with me. I can't connect to it. The Tree of Life is one of those. I'm not interested in the Tree of Life at all. I don't like it. I just don't. I feel like Malick said all he had to say within his first three films, honestly. And now we're just kind of meditating over the same things where I'm not very interested in spending so much time on these kinds of Christian ideas. He's a Christian who I think makes phenomenal art. I just, those first three films, I don't need to spend fucking 10 films on the same kind of concepts. Boogie Nights is an excellent film. It does not belong on this list at all. My Neighbor Totoro is terrible, but that's because all of anime is bad, and everyone who likes it is a virgin. Intolerance. Hmm. I don't even think D.W. Griffith was that good. I have a video on Intolerance, and it is very impressive. Very impressive. And I understand the impulse to represent Griffith in some sort of way. I mean, he's a massively important figure, but don't let him and his acolytes trick you into thinking he was more important than he was, right? He'll lay claim to creating everything when he really didn't. Intolerance, that or Orphans of the Storm are my favorite ones that he did, but he's honestly not that impressive. Like, we don't need Griffith anymore. We really don't. We can move on entirely, you know? I don't take issue with him appearing on this list. Like, I understand it, right? And like he belongs here way more than Bridesmaids does, okay? Way more than Toy Story does. Um, but that's the power of Griffith. Griffith is always good for discourse. I think he'll at least be a good subject for discourse until long after I'm dead. Which should speak to the undeniable power of Griffith. But he has power. My argument is he doesn't have as much talent as we previously thought, or innovation. That's my argument. Power is undeniable, though. Breaking the Waves is like the only fucking Von Trier film that I really love. I love Breaking the Waves, and I like seeing it here. Best friend's wedding? What are we doing? What are we doing? No. I'm not gonna dignify that with an analysis. 12 Years a Slave, fuck off. That's not even, that's a bad movie. Bad movie. This is good. That's good. I'm not surprised to see it on this list. Claire Denis has been getting extremely popular lately, which is okay. I think she deserves it to a certain extent. I don't mind. King Kong, love that film. Love it to fucking death, dude. Marion C. Cooper is was a wild man. Like he was crazy. I love him. I love his composition. I love King Kong. I love Fay Ray. Oh my god, with that scream. What does he think she's really gonna see? Like, dude, oh god. King Kong rules, bro. It's such a good movie. Bicycle Thieves? Yeah. Yeah, the shit still works, bro. I love how stupid I can be in these videos. I would like they should do a re-release of Bicycle Thieves and I should get a blurb on it and just says, "Yeah, this shit still works, bro. Paris is Burning, fucking awesome. I love it. The Man Escaped is great. Carrie, love Carrie to death. Carrie, all day, all night. Love the film. I think it's one of De Palma's best. De Palma's best films are Carrie, Body Double, and honestly Scarface. Like it's those are his three greatest films. Bambi, I don't know. People love to be like, man, it had the mom die, and I'm like, well, okay, does that make it fucking good? Like, I don't know. Like, I guess there is something to say about like a child's first exposure to tragedy, to death, to loss of a parent, and have a kid like experience that through Disney, through Bambi. Like there's something to say about that, but there's also something to say about the significance of that, like whether that is still felt, whether that is still relevant, and whether other children's films have done similar things, but in more metaphorical ways and less hyper literal ones. I don't think Bambi is that great. I think it gets too much credit. Dazed and Confused is an excellent film. I love it. At 62, ooh, that's high. That's high. That is high. Let's be real. I love the movie. It's high. Remember, everything at this point is better than Belle de Jour. Remember that shit. And I didn't see Last Days of Disco or Metropolitan on here. So until you see it, all these movies are better than your favorite movies. This is high. Passion of Joan of Arc. This is low. It's really low. Passion of Joan of Arc is one of the most beautiful films ever made. And it's at 61. And I feel like number 60 is going to be such an insult. Yeah, apparently the Passion of Joan of Arc isn't as good as Moulin Rouge. Step aside, Dryer. Boz Lerman has entered the chat. Okay, Passion of Joan of Arc, Maria Falconetti. This is one of the most intimate and haunting films I've ever watched. I love it. It's beautiful, and it has like a crazy story. I think the original negatives are like the original film was like lost for a while, and then it was found inside some mental institution in Sweden or some shit. Like I love when silent movies have like the strangest lore possible. Like Metropolis, where they found those missing reels in South America, just in the jungle. Like, what is going on with the history of silent films? It's so cool. But what truly makes this so beautiful is that it helps define cinematic beauty in a huge way, like we wouldn't really know what to call beautifully cinematic without the passion of Joan of Arc. I think it's deeply haunting. I think it's mesmerizing, and I think it's soulful. I think it's soul crushing too. I think the film's beautiful, and Moulin Rouge is apparently better. A fucking jukebox musical apparently is better. Fuck you. No way. This doesn't belong anywhere near this list. Bunch of camp bullshit, bro. And I like Baz Luhrmann. I would prefer like I like Baz Luhrmann, but even the best Baz Luhrmann film doesn't belong on this list, which I think is Romeo plus Juliet. I don't think he's made a single film that is worthy of being considered for the 100 greatest. No. Vagabond. Good fucking movie. Good fucking movie. Haven't thought about it in a very long time, but good fucking movie. E.T. E.T. You know I love to make fun of Spielberg and bully him, but E.T. I always give him a pass when it comes to E.T. We're just gonna say it's good and move on. Brokeback Mountain, fuck off. No. No, people act like dudes didn't kiss in movies before 2005. Stop it. Fuck this movie. It's not good. Rosemary's Baby is beautiful. It's an excellent masterpiece. I love this film. I love this film. The Road Warrior, one of my favorite action films ever. A brilliant and hyperkinetic film. Let's go. In the Mood for Love, one of the greatest films ever made. Wong Kar-wai's masterpiece. Maggie Chung, Maggie Chung, Maggie Chung, marry me. Marry me, Maggie. I think I'm losing my mind. I think that my YouTube channel is really just a documentation of me losing my grip on humanity. The General's okay. I think Buster Keaton's overrated. I mean, I think he's extremely talented, but I think that his films lacked artfulness and deepness. I think he's good for like a one reeler. I think he's good for like one joke, but he's no Chaplin. Chaplin could change your life with a joke. Buster can make you laugh. That's the difference. Apocalypse Now, very good. It's a very good film. Breathless. I love Breathless. It's fucking great. I think it's really cool to hate on Breathless, but that's because cinephiles are a bunch of no fun ass losers, dude. Breathless is so much fun. It's fucking a wonderful movie, and there's so much power associated with Breathless. You can argue that it truly launched the new wave. I think it did a lot more for the new wave than the 400 Blows did a year before in '59. I think Breathless, considering like its impact on cinema, which is still felt to this day, is probably one of the most significant films of all time. And Gene Seberg is so fucking pretty. Texas Chainsaw Massacre absolutely belongs in the top 50 greatest films of all time. I think it's one of the most ultra violent, one of the most confrontational, gross, and unsettling films ever made. I think it's a great cinematic expression of the anxieties of the 70s. I love it so much. The Piano, fuck no. I always hated this movie. People talk about misery porn like it's like a new thing, right? But no, it's existed forever, and I think The Piano is one of the most glaringly obvious, but least self-aware examples of misery porn. Fuck that movie. Mean Streets is beautiful, man. Oh my God, that's so good. Johnny Boy, fucking so good. I think one of the most fascinating things that Scorsese ever filmed is Keitel's character in it, like burning, like keeping his hand over an open flame and talking about hellfire because the character believes that he's headed to damnation. And he's like, this is what hellfire feels like, trying to feel it. It's fucking beautiful. It's a beautiful film. Mean Streets is excellent. Scorsese, you know, the rumors are true. The man's a fucking god. He's great. Notorious, yes, one of my favorite Hitchcock films. I can finally not talk shit about Hitchcock for a second. I criticize him a lot too. That's because most of the ones they bring up are like ones that fucking annoy the shit out of me, dude. But Notorious, Rebecca, Shadow of a Doubt, those are three films that I think are just beyond beautiful, dude. I think they're perfect. I think that this is a beautiful film with extremely beautiful people within it, and I think it's about beautifully awesome things. I love the intricacies of the sequences within the film. I love Hitchcock when he does have a blueprint. I love Hitchcock where he is incredibly thorough and precise. Notorious, I think, is as a machine, as one of Hitchcock's filmic machines, one of the most beautifully operated ones. I love Notorious so much. Ingrid Bergman, oh my God, girl. Girl, cinema is still under your spell. New cinephiles are still under your spell. Everyone is still in love with Ingrid. Bro, look at her, bro. Oh my God, one of the cutest ever. I I had a video on this channel where me and my friend analyzed Notorious, but we did a bunch of shrooms before it. I was just tripping out looking at Ingrid's skin and her lips and stuff. And I'm like, damn. So when we did the conversation, we were still fucking so high that the whole time. I mean, a bunch like that was one of my more successful videos, so people enjoyed it. But like, I can't listen back to it because it's pure fucking cringe. Because I know that right then and there, I'm still tripping, hyper fixating on Ingrid Bergman. That's just a funny aside, but Notorious rules. Titanic is basically a perfect movie. I love the film to death. Titanic is extremely good. It's James Cameron's masterpiece. It's the best thing he ever filmed. Oh my God, I'm so happy that was La Ventura. Yes, Roy. Yes, baby. La Ventura. Oh my God, Monica Vitti. Look at you. Look at you. Oh my God, this movie is one of the best movies ever. 1960 was one of the most important years in world cinema. Breathless was just before. La Ventura was 1960. La Dolce Vita was 1960. Not only were the French starting a new wave, but so were the Italians, Fellini and Antonioni. And in La Ventura, we get introduced to a whole new cinematic vocabulary, which is Antonioni's true new vocabulary, which is full of literal metaphors, full of such a deeply nihilistic symbolism, full of these kinds of beautiful people and these beautiful environments that are just both so empty and aching at the same time, emotionally broken, where geography is completely isolating and maybe cruel because it's careless. Careless people in a careless universe. I love Antonioni and I love La Ventura. Oh my God, I got a video on La Ventura as well. It's a very old video, but I think it's still a good video. La Ventura is a masterpiece. Antonioni is one of the greatest ever. My favorite film of his is La Notte. But then it's La Ventura, like right away, dude. Like La Ventura is so fucking genius, bro. I'm so happy to see it here. Love it. And Monica Vitti, like, was one of my first art house crushes. For real. Like, one of the first ones I developed when I started really checking out that Criterion collection. I was like, Monica, come here, girl. Let me see all your movies. Showa. No, no, we're not doing that today. Moonlight. No. The Wild Bunch, excellent film, ultra-violent film, a film that actually wants to inflict pain on the audience, or Sam Peckinpah is so psychotic, he wants to remind men that they're supposed to engage in an endless, cruel, and bloody war against a world that doesn't understand them or is trying to age them out of society. The Wild Bunch is beautiful. Fargo's awesome. 40 is fucking high. Really fucking high. I think it's good, but I think it's good at, like number 94, not at a 40. Some Like It Hot. Love this movie so much. Billy Wilder may have been the best director of Marilyn. He did this one and he did The 7 Year Itch. Some Like It Hot is easily the best one they did together, and I think it's probably Billy Wilder's best movie. It's one of Marilyn's best movies. Her best movies are Some Like It Hot, The Misfits, and Bus Stop. Some Like It Hot is a beautiful and beautifully funny film. It really showcases the tragic comic genius that was genuinely within Marilyn Monroe. She goes like people don't respect her enough, right? Like we all know that she's sexy. We all know she's one of the sexiest women ever on film, but that really wouldn't have got her far if she didn't have some sort of talent or presence behind it. And what she had was a tragic comic one. She was extremely funny when she had a very good director who understood her hang-ups behind her. And Billy Wilder was definitely one of them. She drove him insane, he drove her insane, but ultimately they understood how each other operated. And Some Like It Hot, I think, is a perfect movie. A fun fact, Tony Curtis is a weirdo. He was asked, what was it like kissing Marilyn Monroe when he was doing a press junket for this film? And he replied with, kissing Marilyn Monroe was like kissing Hitler. Make of that what the fuck you will. Um, I would die happily if I kissed Marilyn Monroe, but have fun, Tony. Lawrence of Arabia, beautiful film. My favorite David Lean film is The Bridge on the River Kwai. Then it's Lawrence of Arabia, and then Brief Encounter. But Lawrence of Arabia is so fucking good. It's an extraordinary picture. Still looks beautiful too. And what it has to say, especially about sexuality and politics, I think is still relevant. And I think that those parts of it are still confrontational too. And Peter O'Toole has a timeless performance. The trick is not minding that it has. Like, it's very good. And what it says about narcissism as well. I keep trying to go away from it, but there's more and more to say. That's the kind of film Lawrence of Arabia is. There's so much to say about it. I think it's forever engrossing. So it always belongs on lists like these. Annie Hall, overrated, don't like it. Fuck Woody Allen. On the Waterfront, also overrated, don't like it. Fuck Ilya Kazan for the most part. That fucking rat bastard. He fucking sold out all of his friends to McCarthy during the Red Scare. I don't support rats. Do you? The Silence of the Lambs is a good movie, but the thing is, it's like I think it's very explicitly trying to be a B movie, trying to be an exploitation movie. Um, Somehow Jonathan Demme tricked tricked everyone into thinking this was a kind of prestige film when really it's just so camp and everything about it so clearly camp. I don't think it's supposed to be at 35. I think it being at 35 just kind of relates this idea to you of people misunderstanding what the film was actually trying to do and trying to accomplish, which was just cheap thrills, honestly. Stagecoach is great. This is way too high. Is way too fucking high. John Ford's Stagecoach does not belong on the top 100. It's great, but keep it away from this list. What are we doing? 8.5 at 33. So at this point, I'm pretty sure that the three movies I brought up earlier, none of them will get a mention here. 8.5 is excellent. Vertigo fucking sucks. One of the most overrated movies ever. There's no substance to the film, and everything that is within this film has been bettered and perfected elsewhere. I don't think that Hitchcock understands the psychology of his own film, or I think an even worse criticism is he's spreading way too little over way too much, meaning that Hitchcock's own psychology is way more simplistic than his film would have you believe. Like it's an overcomplicated, overcomposed, and overrated film. Always thought so. Network. Get this shit the fuck out of this list. Sidney Lumet is a terrible director. You put it at 31 on a list of the best screenplays. All right. Even the best performances, right? Peter Finch, Faye Dunaway, they were great in the film. Keep it off of the list of the best actual movies because there's nothing about the compositional style of this film that is in any way memorable. Network is not a good movie. Sidney Lumet never truly made a good movie outside of Dog Day Afternoon, but that's just because the content of the film didn't necessarily require too much composition. That's all. Network is bad. Keep it out of 31. You know what? Journalists love to put fucking network high on lists because I don't know, they like to appear like self-effacing or, they like to be self-referential. But fuck you. I don't care about that gesture. Fuck The Empire Strikes Back. Even if you love Star Wars, it doesn't belong anywhere near the top 50 greatest films of all time. Like, even if you actually love it, like, you should eventually admit to yourself that, like, yeah, there's better works of art. Like it's good, but it's also fucking dumb and stupid and derivative. Like, maybe it shouldn't be like that much higher. I think that I love the movie House on Haunted Hill, and while it's on my personal top 10 favorite movies list, I don't think it belongs anywhere near like a standard top 50 list, like meant for a lot of people, meant to be something to look at by normal people to look and see what films they have seen. Like just because you like something doesn't mean it's one of the greatest things ever. I get that your childhood is important to you, and that's partly why you love Star Wars so much. Fake person that I'm making up right now in my head to talk to. I get that that's why you love Star Wars so much, but like that child inside of you is lying to you. It doesn't exist anymore. In The Empire Strikes Back, we simply don't need. I like everything that I think Star Wars provided to film as an art form is something that has hindered it in some massive way. I don't think it's a good movie. Double Indemnity is a great movie. Barbara Stanwyck, one of the greatest femme fatales in film history, and this is one of the best film noirs ever. This is a great Billy Wilder film. That's so fucking good, dude. That's Fred McMurray, I think. Yeah, it's Fred McMurray. They're so good in this film. But really, it's all about Barbara Stanwyck. She's so fucking amazing. Double Indemnity rules. It's so fucking good. City Lights, one of my personal favorites. I think it's the best thing Chaplin ever did. It's the high point of his career, which is historic, honestly. With City Lights, what makes it so interesting is its context, because this is the heyday of the talkie, where like talkies were taking over everything. And Chaplin believed, like I believed, in the power of silent film. So he made City Lights in this rebellious sort of way against this new form that he thought was destroying cinema. I mean, and he wasn't wrong. I think that silent films and talking films uh, are extraordinarily different. I think they're so different compositionally and like in the way that the viewer interacts with them that you could call them entirely separate art forms. You know, and I think that City Lights is possibly the last great ballad of silent cinema. And I believe it's rebellious. I believe that it is romantic. I believe that it is lo- lovesick and goofy, and I love it so much, though. One of the best films around. I love the even this just a love story between him and the blind girl. I love the tramp. I love Bonnie and Clyde. 27's very high. I love the composition. I love the editing of this film, and Faye Dunaway is so smoking in the movie. And Warren Beatty's Clyde Barrow is a fascinating character study. He's one of the most ultra-violently sexually insecure characters you will ever come across. I think Bonnie and Clyde belongs on a top 100, but I don't think it belongs any higher than 50. 400 blows, hell yeah. This is great. My favorite Truffaut film is Day for Night, but I get it. 400 Blows is a beautiful film. Absolutely beautiful film. Truffaut is one of the greatest. He's one of my personal favorites. Bringing Up Baby, I think, is overrated. Howard Hawks has some much better films out there, among them Rio Bravo, among them Red River, among them Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. Bringing Up Baby, I'm uninterested. I don't think it. Okay, let's do something truly controversial. I don't like Katharine Hepburn very much. I really don't. She's never clicked with me. I've never, I never got it, never understood it. Not truly. That's really the problem. I think Cary Grant's great. Tokyo Story, I don't like it. The Apartment, I also don't like. Chinatown, masterpiece, neo-noir. What makes film noir so interesting as a movement is that it pops up at times where Americans, particularly, are going through something traumatic, are experiencing the gray areas, the gray, darker corners of the human experience. So, like, it first popped up directly following World War II, and we collectively were dealing with a lot. Masculinity was dealing with a lot. Chinatown, we popped back up in the 70s um, amid a great deal of anxieties following Vietnam, following a lot of different things. And then neo noir, of course, comes back up again in the mid 2000s following 9/11 and Columbine with films like Sin City and Brick. Noir is very revealing of where the public is at. And next time neo noir pops up in a massive way, that's when you know that something is terrible, that culture at large is experiencing something terribly dramatic that they can't express in any other way but nihilistically through broken heroes and untrustworthy femme fatales. Chinatown is one of Roman Polanski's greatest films. Faye Dunaway is so amazing in this movie. John Huston, one of the greatest villains of all time. Gone with the Wind, I love this film. It's excellent. Don't listen to what anyone has to say about it in the current era. Gone with the Wind is a beautiful movie. Masterpiece. Blue Velvet. It's the only David Lynch film I like, but I fucking hate that it's at number 20. Get fucked, bro. Fuck you. It's the only David Lynch movie I like. It's David Lynch is just so fucking annoying, isn't he? Like such a little annoying ass dweeb. He's an annoying little dweeb, bro. Godfather Part 2. Yep, of course that's here. It's a great movie. Persona. Love it. Oh my god, it's very good. I think my favorite Bergman is Cries and Whispers, but this is probably second. I love Persona. B.B. Anderson gave a remarkable performance here. So did Liv Ullmann. The things that it has to say about sexuality, about spirituality, about personality is just so incredible and still complex to engage with completely. It's still a confrontational film to this day. The opening of Persona should honestly be studied. And Nashville, dude, Nashville. Altman, I love Gosford Park. I love Shortcuts. I do like Altman. Nashville is okay. It's okay. And that's all. 17 is a joke and a half. Like, this is stupid. It being at 17 is silly. Casablanca is not that good. Both of them have been in better films and have experienced greater chemistry with actors who I think complement the other more. I like Michael Curtiz, but his best movie is Mildred Pierce. Ingrid Bergman, Humphrey Bogart, I love them, but and this movie's fine. It's just I don't know how it got so overrated along the way. I don't know, like when did it become the thing to say that Casablanca is one of the greatest movies ever? Like why is that the 40s black and white romance film that like even Gen Z and Gen Alpha like know about? Like why is it that way? Like why is that the case? I think ultimately that's a that's bad. I don't think that's right. I think there are other movies that are just better, just better in every way. Sunrise, like show them. Oh, dude, Sunrise is so much better. I wish people thought of Sunrise just as immediately as they thought of like Casablanca. I wish that Sunrise had the visibility that Casablanca does because it's a really complex story of love. Made by Murnau, it's way better than Nosferatu. It's Murnau's best film, hands down. Now, a better film than Sunrise is Jean Vigo's La Tourmente. And the reason why it's better is actually a piece of criticism from Truffaut himself. Truffaut was also a critic, not only being a great filmmaker, he was also an extraordinary critic. He compared Sunrise to La Tourmente, and he did it wonderfully. What he said was the beauty of La Tourmente by Jean Vigo was the anarchism of Jean Vigo. Jean Vigo is like this was the son of a very famous French anarchist, and he had like this kind of wild kindness, this truly anarchic romantic freedom to his films. And within La Talanta, characters could really do anything or be anything, enter other genres, and like play pretend as other archetypes. The film itself seemed to possess a certain kind of anarchic sensibility of freedom, whereas Sunrise is so controlled. And I believe that Truffaut said that La Talente was a better expression of love because love cannot be controlled. That's the point of love. Whereas in Sunrise, there are sequences of them walking across this busy street, and every car, every person, everything is choreographed so precisely that it seems insincere and disingenuous or passionless, even. when compared to something as wildly free as Lot to Lot. So while I do love Sunrise and think it is beautiful, I would prefer if Jean Vigo's Lot to Lot were in its place. Do the Right Thing, beautiful movie. I really don't have an issue with it being at 14. Not really. It wouldn't be at 14 on my list, but it would be in the top 60 probably. It's very good. Oh, the rules of the game. Fuck yeah, dude. This is so good. Jean Renoir, you king, bro. And Marcel Dalio is the actor who played this role. De La Chesnay or something. Like he's so gripping, dude. He's amazing. This film, it's one of the greatest. It's one of the greatest. This list, like as it stands, it's not bad. The rules of the game is so fucking gorgeous, man. It's beautiful. Oh my God, it's intensely good and fun. Bro, I love the rules of the game. It's one of my favorites that we've seen so far. Goodfellas is excellent. Singing in the Rain. An American Paris is better. Vincent Minnelli is better than Stanley Donen and Gene Kelly as like directors, okay? Like an American in Paris should be here. The ending of American in Paris, the ballet sequence, it's more impressive than anything within the Red Shoes, even, which probably should have been on this list. But like Singing in the Rain, overrated. I get the love for it, and it's quite a lovable film. But An American in Paris is the masterpiece. That's the art. Oh, oh, Saving Private Ryan fucking sucks. It's terrible. It's a war movie as told by your fucking dumbass fucking grandfather while he's having some kind of fever dream about patriotism, loyalty, and family. This movie's fucking awful. It's insensitive. It's disingenuous. It's terrible. It's a film about very serious subjects made by a filmmaker named Steven Spielberg who doesn't know how to speak about serious things. It's like The Thin Red Line, but made in Crayola crayon. This is baby food. It's baby food masquerading as something adult and something serious, but then when you go to engage with it, that's what makes it slightly like repelling, slightly gross and disgusting to deal with, because then you're like, oh God, this is supposed to be serious, and yet this feels like baby food. There's nothing here. You're gross, Spielberg. Gross. All About Eve. It's top 10. I'm not gonna like All About Eve's overrated. I like It's a Wonderful Life. Frank Capra's best films are Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, Lost Horizon, You Can't Take It With You, Mr. Deeds Goes to Town. Like those four are all better than It's a Wonderful Life. It's a Wonderful Life is very good, but those four films should be here instead. Honestly, could have put Mr. Smith Goes to Washington here instead. I could defend that movie till the end of time. I can't defend It's a Wonderful Life. What makes It's a Wonderful Life so interesting is that it speaks to how access determines art. Like this film wouldn't be here if the film company that it was made for like went under and then the rights to the film were non-existent. So then public broadcasting stations started playing It's a Wonderful Life all the time during Christmas. This wouldn't be here if it wasn't for access. So a bunch of people would watch It's a Wonderful Life on television during the holiday season, and it slowly became tradition, and people finally started to recognize the true artistry within it. This would not be here without access. So maybe I'm okay with it at number 8 as a symbol of how give people access to great art, and that great art will be recognized and be canonized by the public. Access determines art. But just imagine if people had access to even better films, right? That's my point. Imagine they had access to, you can't take it with you. Imagine they had access to some of Capra's more superior films. Just imagine. 2001, whatever. Of course it's here. Seven Samurai, suck a dick. That movie sucks. Pulp Fiction is wonderful. I love that movie. This movie is great. This movie lives up to the hype that Seven Samurai in 2001 failed to live up to. Pulp Fiction's excellent. Citizen Kane, another excellent film. Top three. So what's the top three? Wizard of Oz will be one, which I disagree with. Um, shit. Better not be the Shawshank Redemption. I will fucking freak out, dude. Fuck you. Um, what's another one that people love that we haven't seen here? Don't remember. I don't know. Godfather, obviously. Dude, okay. Okay, which I agree with. The Godfather fucking rules, and I do prefer the first one over it. I think there's more beauty to its composition and more tragedy to its characters. And yeah, yeah. I think that's Coppola's greatest film is The Godfather. One. It's gonna be Wizard of Oz, but then dude, okay, the other one, the top two really do not be Shawshank Redemption. I beg of you, Variety. I fucking beg of you, dude. Because like if you ask me, this list isn't half bad. Don't do this, man. It's not worth it, man. Don't put Shawshank on here so high, man. It's not worth it. It's like I'm playing a Russian roulette. I'm so used to seeing Shawshank Redemption, that stupid, awful fucking movie, that piece of fucking trash, on so many lists of the greatest things ever. Wait, was it already here? Number one is Psycho. Fine, whatever. Ha ha ha! Get fucked, y'all. What happened to Shawshank Redemption? You missed Shawshank. To exclude Shawshank Redemption is to invalidate this list. Hey, Irving. Hey, Irving. Go fuck yourself, bro. No Shawshank Redemption. This is the way lists are supposed to look. Variety, I love you. Perfectly fine with Psycho at number one, especially if it triggers the stupid ass fucking Shawshank heads out. Fine with Psycho being. I can live with Psycho being number one. I can't live with Shawshank being number one. Because you can definitely provide a good argument for why Psycho is like a great and stellar film. You cannot with Shawshank at all. Don't even try. It's a fool's errand, bro. Yes, yes. Not a bad list. One thing though, you could have had the Last Days of Disco there. You could have had Metropolitan. You could have had Barcelona and just shocked everybody. I really wish you had one of these films there. It's fine that you didn't. It's just do better next time, Variety. Do better for the sake of mankind and art kind. That wasn't bad. That wasn't bad. I'm so happy. Shawshank was snubbed. That fucking rules, man. Variety, you've got a friend in me right now, dude. I think I've said bad things about you in a previous video. I take it all back. I can change. I swear it. Thank you so much for watching me, everybody. I've been your cult boyfriend. I think I did provide some good insight along the way. I also think I said a lot of dumb things along the way, and hopefully you enjoy both of those qualities of me because that's exactly who I am. Thank you for watching.